아이고, 안녕하세요. 피곤해 죽겠다. How is it like to be black in South Korea? That question. It just keeps on coming via email, via everywhere. So I've decided to share one aspect of darkness in Asia through a personal but yet intriguing story. But first, Will Smith. Thank you. Merci. Kamsahamnida. You have no idea how much your popularity, your consistency in the entertainment industry affects my well-being in Asia. You have no idea. In fact, every time Koreans have a hard time pronouncing my name, Wilkine, I use your name, Will Smith, as an example. 이거 뭐지? Wilkine? Wilkine? 아니요. Wilkine. Will Smith 알아요? Will Smith 알아요? 네, Will Smith 알아요. Okay, Wilkine. Will Smith, Wilkine. 네, Wilkine입니다. 네, 오케이. 오케이, 알겠습니다. 네. Then they assume my last name is Kin, but it's actually Brutus. But that's quite irrelevant to the deep, thought-provoking story I'm about to share. I'm a chocolate American in my third year in South Korea. I'm not from Ghana. I just had this South Korean kid come up to me one day and was like, you're from Ghana. I'm somewhat assimilated. I'm still learning the language. I empathize with the people and culture. I'm apologetic to a constructive degree, to the point where I realize that some Koreans, like a lot of people, are like fish in the water with no concept of water. But I rarely allow racism or discrimination to deter me. It really hasn't made an impact in my life here. Besides, that word racism gets thrown around quite easily. Life experiences are far too complex. However, it's the subtle racism that ticks the skin. It just, off me, son. But I move on quite easily. I credit that to my existential approach, that of which grants everyone the benefit of doubt. Everyone that surrounds me, I grant them the benefit of doubt. That of which allows me to navigate the world freely from unwarranted paranoia, and objectively, at least try, to view situations before making subjective conclusions. I also credit my existential approach to South Florida, where my black, white, and Spanish friends have made huge impacts in my life, and it made me see the world quite differently from a somewhat multicultural lens, if you will. With that said, the dichotomy is real, of situations where the mere chance to showcase my character or my sense of significance can be non-existent, at least for that specific moment. But yet, I also have the power to change it. And being American helps with the notion of class conflicts, because the country I was born in is seen as a superpower, politically, economically, and culturally. There are levels of paradox. Get this, I'm an individual living in a country which dictates my actions as a direct representation of every black person on planet Earth. I'm essentially a mutant from an X-Men film, in which the desperate need to feel accepted or validated without compromising my identity can be quite overwhelming. And yet, I don't allow the color of my skin to profoundly influence my traveling experience. It's just unnecessary. But I will admit, at times, it's almost inescapable. No matter how much you read about existentialism or humanism, you can't escape someone constantly reminding you of darkness. When I travel, I subconsciously hear Neil deGrasse Tyson constantly reminding me of the universe camping within us and how we all experience the same connection. Within this bubble, within this realm, I felt the inferiority complex stressed by Tom Burrell, and it's something a lot of people battle with, especially when your country back home reminds you of your insignificance or has a history of putting you down as a black individual. During one of my hermit modes one week, I decided to watch The Avengers alone, Tuesday afternoon. About 60 or so college students present. A few students hesitant to say hi, some talking about me, obviously unaware that I understood what they were saying. Nothing negative, just your typical, oh, foreigner, reggae modi, dreadlocks, what they say in Korea, reggae modi, reggae hair. A few commercials came on, some hilarious, some just propagandizing the beauty of Koreans. I sat in the aisle seat with an empty seat to my right, followed by two Korean guys. I was the only foreigner in the building. And then the film previews began. After about a few, the very last film, apparently based on true events, was titled Machine Gun Preacher, with scenes of the all too familiar war-torn Africa. Helpless black children running across the screen, fire, destruction, missiles, lack of agency, ass cheeks. The same vivid illustration of social immobility. And well, of course, a white male as the savior, toting guns and self-righteousness. And the finding God aspect of the film only highlighted the effects of proselytism. I don't mean to put a dent on the philanthropic efforts by the real guy the film apparently attempts to depict, but the preview is solely the reason why the atmosphere changed from excitement to sheer pity. My world suddenly moved at a funeral pace. It was dead air, with the cacophony of loudspeakers as the annoying exception. It was Coney 2012 all over again. It feels worse watching it in a homogeneous country. Even satire can be mistaken as absolute truth. I sat there grimacing, feeling the weight of Korean eyes slowly laying upon me in a sneaky way, like this. And then back to the film. At this point, I'm either considered as the direct contrast of the images or a guy who may have direct family ties. Trust me, it has happened where a lot of Koreans, like a lot of people, assume Africa is a country and not a continent. No, I know. It's an exaggerated film based on a memoir. I actually shouldn't feel this way. After all, I am an American. But I'm also from the African diaspora, where I'm essentially African too. But then, moments later, during the midst of touching the dark abyss face first, the Men in Black trailer flashed on the screen. I mean, from pity to laughter, Usain Bolt has nothing on that speed. I kid you not, the entire room flipped like heads or tails. You want human disaster or human beings being human with superpowers attempting to save the world? Will Smith, your positive representation, your consistency, balanced the aura of that room. It may very well be my psyche playing tricks on me, but your magic works all the time, man. Then directly after, the Avengers began, with Samuel L. Jackson leading the Avengers. It was just an uncanny moment of satisfaction. This is just an unfortunate reaction, and it's based on the historical depictions of black males on the big screen, in which any taste of power and ownership creates an uncontrollable sigh and relief. At that heart-wrenching moment, I gave thanks to the Men in Black. Pun intended. Most importantly, I was alone in the theater, trying to enjoy this beautiful art of escapism, and at the same time, edging that aisle seat, my feelings of inadequacy forcing me to exit early. and escape. Days later, Will Smith, along with his family, visited the White House, in which they proceeded to talk about alien life. I read the article whilst shaking my head like, why am I experiencing this uncanny experience about being black within the realm of the other? In South Korea, in Asia, I'm aware of the love-hate relationship with black males. Really, from sincere, lovely interactions to disgusting moments of clarity. Like real-life Dave Chappelle episodes. Darkness! F your couch, Wilkine! I normally leave deep introspection on my website where I casually write about the human condition, but I rarely talk about my black experience in Korea. And I guess I'm not in the business of one-upping my struggles for the sake of personal gratification. I'm definitely not a victim, okay? Not a victim. I'd rather die shifting paradigms than find solace in victimization, which is why the benefit of doubt has always been reciprocal. I meet a Korean, I don't automatically think he hates me because I'm black. It's a man-to-man situation. It's a man-to-woman situation. The Avengers and Men in Black were battling the other. The most troubling aspect wasn't just a racial factor of physically self-identifying with a Sudanese child, of the over-perpetuation of lower-class black people, of concluding the notion of social immobility. My instant pain at that moment in that theater alone was actually quite universal. I was essentially the other in that room, isolated and without powers. Apropos to the sense of double consciousness in which W.E.B Dubois alluded to. It manifested in that dark room and I blended dangerously well. I'm sure you felt that way before, which had nothing to do racially. Just being alone to experience something subtly traumatic. The disconnection with human beings, trapped in a remote space, and longing to be with loved ones or to simply feel loved. One can't avoid this fundamental necessity to avoid the bullying of the spirit. In fact, a lot of teachers abroad from all ethnic backgrounds go through this homesickness, where the home is located in the mind and it's just absent from touch. For those of you wondering, I do not define my existence by the nomenclatures thrown at me. The finger pointing, the hair grabbing, the skin rubbing, chocolate, no. The stereotypical questions, or anything that would bother anyone in a desperate need to own their agency. I simply live with love, laughter, and awareness. Where's my Kindle? My Kindle! As of now, I'm simultaneously reading Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. Everything Ravaged, Everything Burned by Wells Tower. Crick Crack by Edwidge Danticat. Notes from the Underground by Dostoevsky. On the Road by Jack Kerouac. And Beloved by Toni Morrison. I know, chapters at a time, chapters at a time. I subconsciously figured out that the books I'm currently reading share a similar theme. The plight of the individual, community conflict, issues of freedom and conformity, and the existential tug of war between the aforementioned. Those books are certainly providing an extra painting brush. Until then, please seek more resources to validate your thoughts. Also, for some of you who will automatically assume I'm some black dude having a hard time in Asia, please do yourself a favor and watch the rest of my videos to get a better feel of who I am and my amazing experience in South Korea, okay? I love it. Nomu chuayo. I know YouTube comment sections can be filled with narcissistic, ignorant dingleberries. Thank you, Will Smith, aka Agent J, aka Fresh Prince. 제가 지금 다른 비디오들도 제 유튜브 채널에 와서 구경하세요. 네, 안녕.